Hey guys, we're back with another video. This is one I'm recording at 3 in the morning because I just had the information stuck in my head and I feel like I just had to get it out there to y'all because we got new support cards already announced for Burst Protocol for Yummy, Drake Hotel, and K9. Spoiler alert, I think K9 might actually be busted, but the YCS is concluded. Kamal won with this. K9 Christian. Now, I did watch. It wasn't like an exciting match. It was more just like he did this. Fun. But what we saw a lot of, I mean, both duelists, obviously making it that far in the tournament, they, strategize, deck build, playing, and it's a lot. It takes a toll, but what we are seeing here is that Yummy is obviously very popular. Now, Yummy didn't make it to finals because we didn't really see much Yummy. It was mostly Mitsurugi, and you can see that a lot of this has like Mitsurugi variants, a lot of underlying Mitsurugi. It is a lot of Yummy, but it's also a lot of Mitsurugi as well. Now, this video is probably going to be a little bit longer because there's a lot of thoughts I want to get out there. What does YCS Anaheim mean going forward now that it's Monday and the weeks are carrying on and we have new sets coming out? Burst Protocol is coming up in 4 months. Mitsurugi will be probably hit on the next ban list. Now, what it is, who fucking knows? It could be prayers. It could be a trillion different things, but what we're seeing is that it's a very good small engine, and the tech choice being it's zombie vampire because you'll be going into a lot of Yummy variants, because if Yummy is as popular as it is, then odds are if you're able to Mitsurugi and then you're not able to get into Yummy, then you can just summon one of your opponent's Yummy monsters, or you can mill 4 and summon one of your own monsters and get going, which is what we saw a lot of. But Mitsurugi's good, and being able to have a bridge from Yummy to Mitsurugi, because Mitsurugi does have a lot of cards between like the pre-prep rights and 3 Habakiri. There's a lot of ways to get to it, but not only that, if you go full Yummy combo, you can go Herald and just search Habakiri. So there's a good bridge there. I don't obviously play that. I still play the Fiendsmith variant because I think Fiendsmith is still pretty nice. Mitsurugi, like, I'd rather lean on other things like my board breakers, like Purge, like Songs of the Dominators, being Search Another Purge, Super Poly. I'd rather have stuff like that to rely on than, the one ghost spell. But we did see that Droll is making a comeback now, especially because Mitsurugi is so fucking popular now. But another thing too is like there's some interesting tech choices and people playing Lightning Storm at 3, a Croaky on the side. I don't agree with all of it, but it's interesting to see that Yummy is as popular as it is now that Marshmallow is a fucking $70 card. Triff did scrub out. It was kind of unfortunate, but he did put together a crazy list, right? The hand loop obviously is unfortunate. When you play something like this, you have the one Ash Blossom. What else do you have on your opponent's? You're just hoping that your opponent just doesn't hand loop you, but he went against the one deck that hand loops. So what do you do at that point? But this is an amazing list. A lot of tech choices did come out of this weekend, and I'm super excited to go over them. But K9 going forward, if they don't get a hit to the main deck, might actually be the best deck because of the support they have coming out, which I'll show now. Because this will kind of tie into what's going forward and what YCS means for like card prices, what people are going to look at. Now, do I think K9 Christian is the best variant? Who knows, but definitely I would pick up K9 cards now because it's about to get crazy. I'll show you why now. So this is a new canine card coming out in Birth Protocol. It just got announced literally like hours ago. We just got the official translation. I was waiting for the official translation, and as you notice, this is a Wind Beast Warrior. Not Winged Beast, thank God. But, so the way you summon it, I guess, is with the quick play mechanic. You can only use the effect and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is special summoned by a canine spell or trap effect, you can target up to 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard and or banishment, shuffle them into the deck. Does target. Still crazy, you know, because if you're able to get like the on-resolution effect and, you know, depending on how you layer your interaction. On top of that, if this card attacks a defense positional monster, inflict piercing battle damage, good boss monster. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card, negate that effect, then destroy all cards on the field. I'm sorry, what? Now, we might be getting more stuff, and I don't think this has a way to protect itself, but this would also blow up. This is a fucking board nuke. This is like, it's crazy. Now, I don't play K9 myself, right? I don't know if the new stuff is worth keeping or like what you would want to have like exeed out on the field, but this is a crazy boss monster. Thank God it's not Winged Beast. Otherwise, oh my God, the stonks on fucking Featherstorm would go crazy. But it is cool that they're getting a new boss monster because I feel like Yummy really does have more boss monsters, or boss monsters, so to speak. But K9 getting a really fucking good like new Xyz that they can go into other than Werewolf to like what? Look at your hand and banish one? Cool, whatever. Draco Tail, I'm going in order of like what I think is the best. Obviously we could get more announcements for these archetypes, but this is just like right now what we're seeing. So Draco Tail has Saurus. It's a level 6 light dragon fusion, 24, 15, cool, nothing big, but it does need a specific Draco Tail monster and 1 monster in your hand, which Draco Tail ideally wants to fuse from hand anyways. You can only use the first and second effects as card name once per turn. You can target 2 Draco Tail cards in your graveyard. 1 face up on the field and the same as either of them monster spell trap. Shuffle all 3 into the deck. You recur back resources and you're also able to shuffle one of your opponent's cards back. Now we are seeing this like whole shuffling back mechanic coming in. It's not negation, it's not, well, K9 getting their negation, but we're slowly leaning away from this like toxic omni negate. You know, we're seeing this, oh, spell negate, trap negate, monster negate, not this just negate whatever. Solemn Judgment go into 1. We're seeing a more game where there's a lot more openness to it because Dark Ruler becomes better, Evenly becomes better, Droplet is meaningful, you know, stuff like that. If 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card is in your graveyard, so Yummy Synchros, you can switch to this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So Yummy, obviously, when they synchro with Snatchy, 2 cards are gonna hit the graveyard at the same time for the effect. Or there's a lot of other archetypes that will also like, you know, Fusion or Synchro or Link, especially Link. It gives Draco Tail a way, I guess, to just have like more options other than just the 2 fusions they have. Now we're getting that more support now that Yummy got Yum Yum Yummies and Marshmallow and Draco Tail got theirs and K9 got their main deck. Now we're starting to get more into the extra deck, which kind of pisses me off because Yummy got this. What the fuck, Konami? Assist Yummy. It's a continuous spell, or it's a continuous trap card, sorry. And you can only use the second and third effect once per turn. So once per turn during the standby phase, you gain 100 LP, your opponent pays 100 LP. Not that it matters anymore, it's just to kind of like counteract that snatchy effect of like paying, so you can kind of like gain some life points back. Spoiler, I don't think this is a card we're gonna fucking play. And I was really hoping for another synchro because I saw K9 get theirs. Then I saw the Draco tail. I was like, oh my God, we're finally getting another yummy synchro. It's gonna be busted. No, we got a fucking trap so far. Once during the main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you can send 2 face-up yummy cards you control to the graveyard, including this card. Return 1 card from the field or graveyard to the hand. Non-target. So it's like cool because what this allows is Marshmallow, like no one plays Yum Yum Yummies. But Marshmallow being able to set this face up on your opponent's turn and have it live, you can send this and then it would be like, once you use the effect of Croaky, because you're gonna ideally want to be having Croaky on your opponent's turn, once you get the pop effect and maybe the special summon effect, you can send like the field spell plus this, and it's a free non-target bounce. Marshmallow isn't really doing anything right now anyways of the synchro effect, because if you don't have to worry about getting a banished field spell or, you know, surprise, you can add it back to hand. I run too because I'm not a fucking idiot, but it's just like another layer of interaction. And I guess if Yummy got another synchro, Yummy would probably be busted because like what else would it do? Or with Yum Yum Yummies, the last line reads a Yummy Link monster. There are, I think, a card or cards that specifically call out Snatchy, which is probably the main way, but maybe we get a Link 2, another Link 1 maybe, because it kind of opens up the doors the way the cards are read that maybe in the future we'll get another Link 1. This is what we're getting? Are they holding back the Yummy extra deck monster because it's just gonna be broken? So, you know, whatever deck you want to play after Burst Protocol, obviously we'll probably get a ban list between now and then when Burst Protocol comes out, because I think we get Burst Protocol like at the end of January, beginning of February. And then the last effect is you can banish a card from your graveyard, send 1 Yummy card from your deck to the graveyard. Cool, whatever. I guess if you were really hurting for like, you needed to get stuff from the banish, you could send a field spell like a Croaky and then recycle the resources back, because then Snatchy can just place it back anyways. It adds a layer of interaction. It's not the worst thing in the world like the other continuous trap, but like I said, it does give Marshmallow a layer of interaction that something slight. It's just something slight. It's nothing crazy, but so yeah, I wanted to show that due to YCS and now the card stonks are gonna go crazy right now, showing what's coming in the future, because now that we have the 5D set coming out and the Outback Structure deck coming out, and then we got the new decks coming out in December from the Build a Deck thing like we got with Malice and Rizal, don't count these decks out. Like Yummy is still great, and we saw that Rizal could still compete, although it's Automata and just hand loop, but they can still put out a lot of Xyz bodies. Mitsurugi, I would be careful on picking up cards. Seeing as Mitsurugi's now in the OCG, I wouldn't be surprised if Prayers got banned or put to 1, or it's got to be Prayers, right? Because like Habakiri is cool. You don't want to kill the engine, but you got to remember they also have a ton of ways to bridge into it. Yummy can bridge into it with Herald. You know, Habakiri is its own starter. Prayers is good, but you also have like pre-prep, which is just 3 more versions of Habakiri. And there's a lot of ways to bridge into Mitsurugi as well. And Mitsurugi just being able to make a level or rank 8 is kind of crazy. I still don't think, in my personal opinion, that Mitsurugi Yummy is the best version of it, because like it's easy to see like, okay, the runner-up obviously was Yummy Mitsurugi, but when you're shut off from one engine, it's good to play 2 engines. You can go into the other one. Or if you go first and you're able to set up both engines, now your opponent has to deal with both engines. And Yummy's already a fucking problem to begin with, but if you look of how many extra cards you have to have for Mitsurugi just to pop off, like Futsu is a brick, right? there's quite a few bricks in it, and I don't like that. That's why I like the Fiendsmith. Although Fiendsmith has to commit more extra deck, Fiendsmith isn't gonna get hit anytime soon, I don't think. And the fact that they got Lacrima back is a sign that, you know, pick up a Fiendsmith core if you don't already have it. I think it's gonna be doing well. I think we're gonna see Mitsurugi finally hit. Yummy is gonna get a slap on the wrist, either Snatchy to 2 or Cupsy to 2, or they're gonna get a slight slap on the wrist. Not that it matters anymore because we have, you know, 3 Marshmallow and you would just play more copies of Cookie and Lolly. You just gotta get names on board. You still have Obedient School that you can play. There's other options, and I think Yummy is still gonna be great, but given the fact that K9 has the support it does and that it's such a splashable package, especially the Krishron variant. The Krishron variant seems to be very, very strong. Gabe on the team plays the K9 Krishron. Obviously not this version, but it seems like it's hard to get a grip on it because you have to deal with 2 engines. I don't think Krishron can bridge into K9. They bridge into each other. You can just run them side by side, but also too, this fucking Mjolnir lock is disgusting, and that's really what won the thing, is because Lost Die Roll set up the lock, couldn't do anything. Then, like that final game, no one went to turn 2 basically. They were just like, you know what, I've seen enough, I can't do anything, good luck. Another thing I want to mention too is the hand traps. Droll and Logbird coming back definitely stonks. Again, like I say, tend your tech cards, your side deck, your board breakers, your hand traps to whatever environment you're in. If it's your locals, what's at your locals? If you're going to YCSs and regionals, this is probably what you're gonna see right here. A big old Cupsy. But you gotta be prepared also for like the unknowns that make it. I know that White Forest, Toy Azamina White Forest made it to day 2. Although apparently we can't read field spells, you gotta just be prepared for a lot of things, and it helps when you know a bunch of different strategies and you're able to play test. And that brings me to my next topic, is this game becomes a lot easier and less stressful, because if you know exactly what your opponent's trying to do, if you know this strategy and you know exactly where to hit it with hand traps or your board breakers, or you know that Super Pawn I'm not gonna get a lot of benefit from because you know their extra deck, or whatever the case might be, just play test it. If you got friends that have these decks, just play test over and over and over and over and over again and see if what you've got going works. See if maybe I need to change my ratios. Maybe I need to add something. Maybe I need to add more consistency. How can I add more consistency? Like with Triff's list, it's got a shitload of consistency. I mean, you got a ton of fucking starters for Mitsurugi. You got a ton of starters for fucking Yummy. And they bridge into one another. So I know Triff has a lot of time on his hands. He's got a lot of people to play test with, and that's why Triff does, you know, great at these events. And it's unfortunate, you know, he got hand looped, because any other deck he would have been fine, but getting hand looped for both your starters and not being able to break into the board is tragic. But you know, play test with your friends over and over again. See what works, what doesn't. Get into these weird situations of like, oh, I'm under Droll, or he had the one Ash, or he double fooed me, and like, what do I want to do in those situations? What's the best I can do in that situation? Because those situations create the exact same situations you'll be in at locals, at YCSs, at regionals, at case tournaments, box tournaments, whatever you want to do. Recreate those situations, because then when it comes time to, oh my God, I've been in the situation before, you don't misplay, you don't overlook something. You can take a breath and just say to yourself, okay, I've been in a situation, I know this is what happened before, I learned from my mistakes. Given the game state, the board state, you know, is it game 1, 2, or 3? I can take a moment to see the bigger picture here. What do I need to do here? Sometimes it's not overcommitting. Sometimes it's not undercommitting. Sometimes you can just full steam ahead, or sometimes you wanna be like, okay, let me just play under 4 summons. If I can get 2,000 damage in and set up you know, just some things on my opponent's turn because I don't want to give him too many draws, but I also don't want to get nibbed and give my opponent draws, and it's like, was it worth it? But I think this was an interesting YCS. There was definitely a lot going on. I think the Rizal Automat build is pretty cool because it's just like basically a rank 4 package, and you have a ton of options with Gaga and the new Gecko that we got. Do I agree with the Protoss is getting fucking banned, first of all? Like, excuse me. This is an annoying ass floodgate that never needed to come back. And I'm surprised Konami even brought it back. You know, I can definitely say with confidence, if you were considering ditching hand traps and just playing board breakers, like with the list I play, I haven't had issues. But I've also had to look and tailor, like I'm considering about putting Super Poly back in, but running Super Poly and Fiendsmith, it actually that gets kind of tight. You got to sacrifice something, but looking at it, you can go either way. Hand traps, board breakers, like this is the format we're in right now, and it probably will be like that for a while because with the new decks that are coming out. So what we got going on is follow the Albaz structure deck. People are definitely gonna be playing it at locals. Is it gonna be broken and seeing it at like, you know, top end meta level? Probably not. Are we gonna see more probably branded Draco Tail popularity? Probably. And then the 5D stuff, I don't even know if anyone's gonna be making like meta shit out of that. But in December, when we get Hecka Hands and Killer Toon and whatever the pendulum flip is, Killer Toon is definitely gonna be meta because it is synchro version of Draco Tail and K9. It's the synchro deck. They can do some crazy stuff. They can synchro on your turn. They put up a pretty oppressive board too. A lot of negation, a lot of pop. Their boss monster can get to pretty big pretty quick. I still think that Yummy and Draco Tail, and especially K9, going forward and past Burst Protocol, it all depends what we get in Burst Protocol as well. Like Radiant is getting support. Not that Radiant is gonna be game breaking, but it's gonna be a core set where they boost up a lot of archetypes, and you know, we're still waiting. The set comes out in 20 days for the OCG, so we'll see a full list. Do we get some ports maybe from other cards? Who knows? We gotta wait and see, but I know this video is kind of everywhere. It's 3 in the morning. I just wanted to get my thoughts out to you guys and talk about the YCS. It wasn't a crazy like ending. There wasn't like a back and forth towards the end. It was very much, I lost die roll, okay, you set up board. Okay, I lose that one. I'll go first. Set up board, okay, I lose that one. I set up board, you lose. It's very much, that's how it went. It was kind of boring, but it was definitely interesting to see like what people were gonna bring, because this is fresh ban list, right? So people have all kinds of choices to make, and given that we've got new support cards coming out in the form of, you know, hopefully more to these archetypes, I'm excited to see what it's gonna go into, but definitely pick up your cores now before they get too expensive, because once the OCG gets Burst Protocol and we can see kind of more or less what our format's gonna look like now that they actually have Mitsurugi. I don't know if they have like everything Mitsurugi, if they have like Prayers and Mirror and Futso, Hapakiri, and like everything. And using the OCG as like a card by card of, hey, this is how this is gonna look. Our format's gonna be the exact same. Absolutely not. It's 2 different formats, but it is good to see when new cards come out, what do their deck lists look like? What is going on in their format? Why is this variant winning over others? So, but that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to put this video out there real quick. I am gonna be posting what I think the best hand traps are for this meta going forward till the end of the year, in my opinion, and looking at the new decks as well. But I just wanted to give a brief shout out to Sean for playing White Forest in top 32. Gotta read the field spell locks. If he didn't get those, we might have seen White Forest go higher. It definitely brought back a love for White Forest, because it's been hard into the Radiant deck that we have. And building for Genesis as well, and that's been its own beast. And then Yummy Fiendsmith, and making the Fiendsmith work with the dinosaur. It really doesn't matter that Moon got banned. It still works, it's still amazing. I don't think people give Fiendsmith enough credit because a lot of stuff wants to special, but also Desiree is pretty oppressive. And even if Desiree gets like shot off the board, shuffle back sequence, Desiree target send, and I think it just sends a card. It could be spell, trap, monster, whatever. And then you just do Fiendsmith all over again and you can do Desiree. That's all I want to say, guys. Just a quick, not so quick video. I wanted to show off the new support. I wanted to definitely give my thoughts and opinions on the YCS. It wasn't anything crazy. What was crazy was, you know, the Automat and the Mjolnir and how many people were playing Mitsurugi Yummy. It's definitely a great deck. I can't wait to see more lists as they come out, as the days develop. I won't post a video about it, but it's just interesting to see on YGO Pro Deck that as the videos come out, they put the lists in and link the videos. And it's always interesting to see the videos too, because people give rhyme and reason as to why I played through Lightning Storm, or why I did this, or why I did that. But anyways, guys, this video is getting long. I will leave it here, and let me know your thoughts about the YCS. What were you excited about? What were you not excited about? What do you think is going to be banned because of what we're seeing in this format? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, I'll see y'all later. Peace.